Today's guest conversation is with my twin brother, part 2, Ryan Hawley, Baseball Forward, episode 58, the Baseball Forward podcast. Ryan Hawley, hello, twin brother. How are you?
Good. Made some adjustments on the background from the last one and the shirt. I got a lot of feedback on the flowery Under Armour shirt that I had on last time. So rocking just the straight blue golf polo. Thank you, Congressional Golf Course.
And you know what? That's good because just pro tip with social media, when you start putting captions and everything, you want a clean shirt so that you can see the captions easier. So that was smart on your part. Hey, speaking of, I actually tried to put that Puma shirt that you gave me. Ain't worn that once. And I was going to wear it and I looked at it. I was like, it's too distracting. So I'll wear it at some point.
I forgot which one I gave you. Huh.
Whistling Straits or something.
Oh yeah. Man, you're not wearing that thing?
Yeah, man. Hey, I don't wear Puma. I'm an Under Armour guy. Under Armour, holler at your boy.
You guys make a good golf shirt, so make sure you holler at me too. And good golf shorts.
Under Armour does. Yeah.
Under Armour shorts are the most comfortable golf shorts. Adidas is pretty good. Yeah, I'd say Under Armour shorts are the best.
That's the way I go. All I wear is Under Armour, those casual shorts. You know what's crazy to think about? You talk about those shorts. Growing up, on the cover of this podcast, I showed it to you. It's a picture of you, Nolan Ryan, and me. And when did dry fit become a thing? Because I'm like, we had to wear this cotton and undershirts under cotton. What an antiquated way of doing things. Do you ever look at those pictures and like, geez, what were they thinking?
Well, not just that, but then the pants too were like unbreathable cotton. But, I mean, what were we thinking wearing an undershirt under a shirt? I credit and shout out Matt Wilson for speaking life into the way I dressed my senior year of college. Thanks, Matt. I haven't worn an undershirt since you made fun of me.
Didn't he say like real men don't wear undershirts or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So,
hey, and if there ever was a man, Matt Wilson was that man. Well, hey, good to have you back. I'll lead with this. Man, your episode or part 1. Well, who knows how many parts we'll have? Hopefully, we're doing this show until into the thousands. Second most viewed podcast episode on the Baseball Forward, and this is episode 58. So, congratulations. I think you have a decent network. And you know what's funny about it is no matter what, like you can try to script things from a social media perspective as much as you want. For those of you that don't know, Ryan Hawley doesn't use Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff. He doesn't allow himself to be distracted like some of us other cronies do. But that goes to show you're on LinkedIn, and the most views, downloads, the second most in the show's history. So congratulations on having some status so far.
Who is number one? Do I even have to
take a guess?
I mean, you've had some unbelievable content over the last 6-8 months. My guess, I felt like Durbin was really good. Schwanke is just gold, and everything with Gary Ward is gold. But Tony V?
No, surprisingly, that's high. That was 3. Cade Griffiths, CEO of DBAT. And you know what Cade told me after we recorded? He said, "Hey, Ross, keep me posted." I sent him a PDF so he could send it out to all of his locations. But he said, "I want to make sure that I'm number 1." He told me that I want to make sure that I'm number 1 on your download list. And I was like, that's called winning, folks.
Yeah, no surprise that gentleman has been so successful in life.
Man, no kidding. So I wanted to get you back on and just I want to keep you involved. For those of you that don't know, my twin brother Ryan, he obviously you played such an instrumental role in my baseball life. My baseball life was our baseball life for much of it. So I want to keep you involved because I love your opinions, and I just have fun talking to you. I want to start with this. So I had a guy tell me once when I was visiting you, Uncle Ryan lives in Westfield, Indiana.
Go Rocks.
the Rocks. Westfield is one of the poorer neighborhoods in America, but he lives in Westfield. It's a beautiful community, and I love Indiana. He is the VP of ops and development for Open Lane. And I was told one time by a guy when I was visiting Uncle Ryan, just visiting family fun, one of his colleagues said, "Your brother's the fixer." He told me, "Your brother's the fixer." And I was like, "Who are you talking about? That guy?" But I want to say this. You are so good at what you do. You're such a good businessman. You're a fierce competitor. I've had a couple conversations recently with just friends, and nobody's surprised by, you're going to be humble, so just let me say it. Nobody's going to be surprised by the success you've had in life and business, because you're a dog. You're a shark. That guy told me you were the fixer. So I want to lead with this. You fix finances, you make things more efficient, you make businesses run well or extremely well. This current state of select baseball, you're in that world right now. Your son is 10 years old, Ty. Shout out to Big TY. But if you were fixing, you're the fixer. If you were fixing select baseball with the knowledge that you have in your brain and your understanding of business, where would you start right now?
Man, well, I think the number one observation about baseball, where it's at right now, select baseball, travel ball, whatever you want to call it, based on your part of the country, the goals have changed. And anytime a collective group of people changes their goals, the behaviors, the processes, and everything around them adjust as well. So I think fundamentally, the collective group of adults in this business have changed their goals from, and I'm not saying they've abandoned the goals of developing kids and loving on kids and creating safe environments for kids to explore new sports. I'm not saying they've abandoned any of that, but the number one goal is money. And here's why I say that.
Wow.
The number one goal is profit. And I get it. I understand it. Like it's a good way to make money. I mean, parents are emotional creatures, and anything that touches our kids, we want our kids to have all of the nice things and create a good life for them. That's and right. If sports is one of those things, like I'm certainly not hating on anyone for what's going on now, but I think the collective goal has changed, and it's profitability. And here's a perfect case in point. My team's playing, 10U team is playing in a tournament last weekend. It's Indiana. It's May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And it's 45 degrees out.
Ugh.
And it's raining. It's literally misting the entire day. Gross. And we play, we show up to the batting cages. It's soggy, sopping wet, miserable. We get into game one. Anytime the ball touches the turf or the outfield grass, you got to change the ball out. And I just asked one of these teenage umpires in game two of a game three set, what are we doing here? And he said, there's no way this organization is going to be refunding money. So we're going to play. And you guys signed up for 3 games, so you're getting to play 3 games. So I would just simply say, if you want to change something, you've got to change the goal. You've got to change the intended destination. And until that happens, we'll just see this. I mean, everything in this world, unfortunately, is influenced by someone's ability to monetize it and profit off of it. I mean, that's really what humankind has been about for the last, several centuries, is how can we make money off of this?
I hear that, and that's insightful. Like you're right, 100%. It's money. If you could have a magic wand, because I think you and I were having this conversation briefly yesterday, but there's no point in talking about it if you're not going to try to positively provide some solutions. And I think it's worthy of having a conversation, because I don't know that this conversation is going to change baseball, but I think there will be parents that listen to 2 guys that actually have some experience and will take comfort in the words that are said. So I know what I would say. This isn't about me, but so if you were fixing it and you had a magic wand and you could say, this is what I would do specifically to make 10, 11, 12 youth baseball better, what would you do from your position at this point?
I think it starts with the parents, and it's a 1-by-1 grassroots campaign. I think human beings have been programmed to make their decisions that are rooted in fear. Now, as for me and my house, we don't make decisions that are rooted in fear. We do occasionally. Occasionally we step out of bounds and we make decisions that are rooted in fear. And I think that the typical parent makes decisions to support these travel teams, these select teams, and pay the money and insert their kids in because they're fearful that little Ryan or little Ross is going to miss out on the opportunity 6 years, 7 years down the road. And I'll go back to Durbin. I don't want to misquote Chad Durbin. But at this age, does it matter? Once some of these children get a little bit older and they become more developed physically, that's when you're going to see the real separation. And if you're supposed to play baseball or volleyball or football, when the developmental age of a child begins, you start to see the separator. So I think I would just go back to simply saying it's a grassroots campaign, and it's a mindset shift that helps parents deprogram their decision making that is rooted in fear and the fear of missing out.
Man, that is so we talk pretty regularly just about everything, but as it relates to this topic, I want to say this for you, because I know we have similar beliefs, and how they say you're not going to listen to your dad. You're going to listen to the, I want to be objective. I want to be an objective voice for anybody that is part of Ryan Hawley's team. And I want to say this: roster sizes are too small. Expectations are too large. We were expecting, we watch a product on TV, strike. These guys are the best in the world, and they make it look so easy. Baseball is the hardest game in the world, maybe aside from golf. But as parents, we forget how hard it is. We have an expectation of, I'm going to play 4 games. That's not realistic. You might play 4 games, but how many quality games are you going to play? It's impossible to play. It's impossible to play more than, if you with a roster size of 11, it's impossible to play most likely more than 2 or 3 quality games a weekend. And my solution is, I wish parents and coaches would be more focused on those singular events within the weekend and quit putting the emphasis on it's a fine game guarantee. For what? You have 11 players. How many pitches are we going to throw? So I know you don't have to say anything on that if you don't want to, but like from my perspective, what I know from the team that I help and blah, 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 the rosters are too small. The expectations are far too great because they don't truly understand how hard the game is. And that element of trial and error. These kids have to err to try. And I am happy that you're being a part of the movement and coaching the youth of America.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, and it is a responsibility, but it is also a privilege. I don't know. I'm an eternal optimist. I believe that the right people at the right time will have the impact they need to on a kid's life. And, hopefully that's parents, but, not everybody's fortunate to have this, cookie cutter looking family life and home life. So it's incumbent upon other men and women to step up and influence kids. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to do my part in this little area, Westfield, of the country.
Superb area of the country. Easily one of the greatest places to be for 4th of July any year. The weather and the green grass. I love your neighborhood. I love your house. I wish I was you. Talking to Ryan Hawley, little brother of Ross Hawley on the Baseball Forward podcast. Man, you look great. You're in great shape. You've been crushing it. Is being active with baseball been a huge part of your reformation as an active adult.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, no lie. I shout out to Apple Watch. Yeah. And I know everybody's got their trackers out there.
Yep.
But, back in April of last year, I started on this journey after my daughter made a comment about my physical appearance. That, hey, I'm 44 years old. I can't let it get too far. So anyways, get this Apple Watch. It starts tracking everything. And I turned it on one day last summer when I went and took tryout and threw in BP and then hit him ground balls, probably an hour worth of practice. I look down at my watch and I see, oh man, I just had 650 active calories. I don't have to go on a 3-mile walk if I don't want to. Now I did, but yeah, it absolutely had there was a small part of the equation that said, yeah, it's going to help me be active. I mean, last night we're at practice. I probably hit 750 Fungos.
Holy
bucket. And you look forward to it. It's fun to do, and it's an easy way to stay active. So yeah, baseball, being a coach has definitely contributed to the physical goals that I have for myself.
You ain't dipping around those kids, are you?
No, I don't dip anymore.
I know you don't.
Gave that up. Kids, if you're out there listening, do not start that habit. I know sometimes baseball can be a game that gets a little boring. Depending on the game. If you're really paying attention, you're really a dude, it never gets boring. Great. But I understand that from time to time, depending on the game, I need to do something to distract myself. Don't listen to me. Do not start.
Don't chew
a tobacco habit. It is an awful thing.
Hey, let's see your left hand. Do you see where my fungo? You got one of those fungo marks
coming in. Coming in.
Yeah, little blood blisters. May asked the other day. I was laying on the couch and my hand was open. She's like, "Ew, you have poop on your hand."
Hey,
like, those are blood blisters.
I went out and got a Marucci aluminum fungo, and I wrapped it in this. It feels like kangaroo hide. Wow. This leather padded leather hide, and it's butter.
Wow. I'm so used to the wood. Talking with Ryan Hawley on episode 58 of the Baseball Forward podcast. I'm curious of your feedback on, and I don't want fluff. I want of anything that you, as listening to some of the podcasts that maybe you listen to, anything you're learning, anything you're taking away, anything that you think would be valuable for somebody else to hear.
Yeah, I'd say the things I'm taking away are that I like to hear people tell their story and give their perspective. As the years pile on and the more understanding you have as an adult that you just don't know what you don't know, there's an eagerness to learn. And, with Ty raising his hand and saying, I want to play baseball, it opened up baseball again to me. And Baseball Forward has been a podcast for me that it's opened up so many different perspectives and so many different experiences that I didn't have. And so I'm learning. To me, it's like an instructor, but it's also entertaining. I mean, how can you not be entertained when you're listening to some of the folks that you've had share some of the wonderful experiences they've had. I can't remember who it was, but they're when they were drafted and what that feeling was like and where they were at, what their parents said. I mean, those are just, it's entertainment, and it's a way to, without connecting one-on-one, to connect to a person and learn a little bit more about them. So that's been something I've really enjoyed. The instruction part goes without saying. I mean, I'm sure there's other quality podcasts out there that have a lot of good instruction and a lot of good baseball knowledge, but the crew that you've assembled and that continues to contribute to this podcast, it's sufficient for me. Let's just say that.
That's awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. What I love about baseball is, and I'm being intentional, I'm trying to be more intentional with staying connected or reconnecting. And Ryan, it is unbelievable to me on this journey, the number of people you you connect with over the course of your lifetime and how important they are. The baseball world is small. I'm humbled by the relationships. And I once had somebody ask me, I quit baseball my second year in pro ball because I was all gooed up in the head. And that's okay. You know what? I learned it's okay to be gooed up. Go fix it. Go figure it out. It's normal. But I had somebody ask me, what's your biggest regret with baseball? And I was like, walking away from the relationships. And because even if you don't make it, who cares how much money you make or how far you go? It's because I've learned that it's all these relationships that are building these stepping stones. So when I say relationships, for the young audience out there that are playing the game thinking, oh, I'm going to be a big leaguer, I'm a big leaguer, and they're so short-sighted or narrow-minded on just one thing, becoming a big leaguer or becoming famous. Explain what relationships have meant to you in your progression through your life because of baseball.
Yeah. Baseball was like the training ground for relationship building. And look, you can fast forward into business, and I don't care what sport it is. We're playing on a team with, 24 other guys and 24 other different personalities and 24 different goal sets, and somehow being able to collectively unify, find common ground, relate, encourage, grow together. That's such a perfect training ground. And that's why I love sports. It's such a perfect training ground for the characteristics and qualities you'll need to be fulfilled in life. Not even necessarily successful, but fulfilled. It's just, to me, it's like in business. There's nothing more satisfying than sitting down with a prospective client, an existing client, a vendor, a partner, and hearing about what motivates them. What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve? How do we fit in together? How can we solve together? Recognizing that, hey, I may not have a fix for this person, but it's good to get to know them. But that's really all we're going to have when this is all said and done is relational memories. And I think it's in baseball, there's so many monetary rewards and there's so many,
fringe benefits.
Good. Thank you for filling that in, that you lose sight of the fact that, no, I gotta spend some time on these relationships. And these are the things that are most important to me. I can't recall half of the outcomes of the games I played in, more than half, 80%, 90%. I very rarely could tell you, hey, how did you pitch against this team? And how did you pitch against that team? Or how do you hit? Generally crappy.
You were pretty good.
But I can tell you who I like playing with. I can tell you who was a good teammate. I can tell you what coaches I would run through a wall for. Coach Ball, if you're listening, you're one of them.
Absolutely.
But you take that and fast forwarded it into now being in my mid 40s, and if you were to ask the 5 people closest to me in business, what's Ryan good at? My guess is they're probably going to say, man, he listens. He has empathy. He understands. He clears a path for his team. He makes sure that the people around him are comfortable. He makes sure that the partners he does business with, there's a mutual benefit. But when you're so focused on winning and achieving something, sometimes you lose sight of that. So I would just say, hey, slow down, walk through it. Don't sprint through it, because when you sprint through it, you don't see everyone standing to your right and standing to your left, the ones that are pushing you forward and elevating you, and the ones helping pull along. You lose sight of it when you get so myopically focused on the objective and what you're trying to achieve. So slow down. I know that is very cliche advice, but slow down. If you're a kid and you're listening to this right now, pause. Who's throwing batting practice to you? Who's taking you to practice? Who did that soft toss? Who gave you that encouraging word? Say thank you to them. Build into that relationship and invest into that relationship, because we are we are a sum of the closest people around us. And if you've got good, strong relationships with good people of high character, odds are you're going to be doing pretty well in this world.
You are who you surround yourself with. Talking with Ryan Thomas Hawley, just so happens to be the middle name of my son, Ryder Thomas Hawley, and Ryan's son is Tyson Ross Hawley. Tyler Ross Hawley. What did I just say?
Tyler Tyson.
Yeah, I said Tyson. Yeah. Hey, you know why I said that? I saw a post from Tyson Helsel earlier. And anyway, so Tyler Ross Hawley. Go back to being a baseball player. You played college baseball. You played 4 years of college baseball. Yep. A lot of guys get gooed up in they're so they D1 or bust mentality. You're 45. You're a successful businessman. If people say, do they say, hey, you played D1 baseball, or hey, you played college baseball? Talk to me about like getting into the business world, how your baseball career, like I'm assuming when people interviewed you, they're like, oh, you were a college baseball player. It gave you a competitive advantage, I'm guessing. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if the resume, you know, the just the, hey, you were this. Yeah, that can open some conversations for some common ground. But I think the advantage it gave me goes back to the relational side of things. I was in a training ground of having to connect with 24 guys on a yearly basis and trying to figure out what makes them tick and what works together. And you know, that skill moved into a business world. It's just as necessary. So, you know, I don't know that there was a lot of, oh, hey, wow, you played college baseball. Yeah, occasionally you get that, but it's more of my recognition that, oh, the skill that I've been working on and developing over these years, and I didn't even know it was a skill, to be honest with you. I do now in hindsight, but that's where the advantage came from. I'm sitting down talking to somebody who's not making eye contact with me. They're not interested in my conversation. Oh, I'm sitting down talking to somebody who keeps looking over my left shoulder. I must not be important to that person. Am I engaging that person? Am I displaying empathy? Because I don't always get it right, you know? So I would say that the advantage really came back to building trust, building a relationship with other young men. And that's where the advantage came in. And look, it goes without saying, I would do anything to win. But outside of cutting corners and cheating, I would do anything to win. And that translates in business. Like, I get a financial statement for the business that I run, and I look at it and I say, I hit or I didn't hit goal. That's it. Every month I get feedback on what our team was able to accomplish or where we fell short. And I am still as competitive as I was early on. I do not like to lose. And losing is a part of everything. It's a part of baseball. It's a part of business. It's a part of life. But I prefer to win. So yeah, those are the things that I would say I took away from baseball into business.
That's something that I never understood, because for whatever reason, I didn't have the bridge in my brain to connect those ideas. When I saw you, when you were done playing baseball, how you were the same competitor it was so important to you to be good at business. Even Mitch, was it Mitch? Yeah, Mitch Walter. I talked to Mitch the other day, and he said something along those same lines. It was so important for you to get it right. And man, you can't fake that. I didn't know it. And I think since I've caught my energy, my wind, and my purpose and all that, but it's hard. It's hard when you're playing baseball, you don't want to relate it to anything else. You want to play baseball and you want to win and you want to get drafted and you want to blah, blah, blah. That's something I always admired. And I think it's worthy of me telling you. Talking to Ryan Hawley on the Baseball Forward podcast, episode 58 today. The Westfield Rocks. I like that name a lot.
Short for Shamrocks.
Short for Shamrocks. They got sweet unis. Are you guys Nike guys or?
Yeah, Nike.
Yeah, that's what they do up there. That's what they do. The Rocks. Are you having fun coaching the kids? I'll be specific with what I ask. What's the most frustrating thing? You're a volunteer parent, and I know you're going to say you're going to be gentle about it. So that's why I'm asking you. What's the most frustrating part as a volunteer coach with a kid on the team? What's the most frustrating part about coaching where you're at right now?
I'd say I probably caused the frustration. I have a certain level of expectations. When we show up for practice, what time we show up for practice, what we do in practice, what our behavior is in practice. Not necessarily the outcome. I could care less what happens, between the lines. These guys are 10 years old. The booting the ball and walking guys and hitting guys and striking out looking, that's a part of baseball. Like, I've been around it enough to know. Probably the most frustrating thing, it comes from me. And I didn't get my expectations aligned as quick as I would have. Now, I've got an amazing team with amazing parents, amazing young men that I get to coach. But I would say so far the most frustrating thing is expecting that all of the behaviors and all of the small details would be done exactly the way I had thought in my mind. Yeah, because there's just no way that's going to happen that way. So
it's such a new arena for everybody. They don't know how things work. They didn't play college sports. They didn't have that expectation of getting up at 6 a.m. and you're not late. If you're late, you're dead. Those are I like what you said, training ground. That's a really good way to put it.
I mean, it's little things. It's the little details. Again, because my expectations were here, when I see things that aren't, I'm not saying they're wrong, but when they're not here, they're down here, they're mismatched. It's little things like, you didn't wear a belt to practice.
Man,
you got tube socks on with knee-high pants. You wore a Savannah banana hat to practice. We're the Westfield Rocks, and you got 3 hats.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just those little things. And again, that's on me. That's not on those kids. That's not on those parents. That's on me. We are a 10-year-old baseball team. Period. End of story. And you get 10-year-old behavior, and you get 10-year-old expectations, and you get the joy that comes with that, quite frankly.
I'm going to say this, though. Hearing you, that's a great way to put it. Absolutely agree with you. I hope parents out there are listening. I'm going to say it. I'm a volunteer. You're a volunteer. There are volunteers all over the country that are trying to do things the right way. They're trying to do things the right way. And it helps. It helps if a coach sets, because I saw we talked about like the standards that you're going to run a team by, right? Wearing a belt to practice is a standard. That's baseball. It helps the parents hear it. If you want your kid to be coachable and successful, and not just in baseball, but adhere to the standards and know who you're dealing with as a coach, because when you have a guy that it matters to, and it matters to this coach that we get the little details right, and we have parents that won't even match those expectations on a very minimal basis, I think you got to check yourself. And this is gentle, positive encouragement to say, just try it, because I'll say this. Not in any of my past experiences that have been negative as a coach, there's a disconnect between expectations of coaches and then the players and or the parents. We can all be on the same page with the most basic stuff as early as possible, and the sooner that you just buy and say that's how it is, the sooner the good part about baseball. Because here's what I want to say to anybody that's listening to it. If you can't if I can't trust you to wear your belt, if I can't trust you to wear your hat right, if I can't trust you to wear the right socks, if you can't play catch and you're dropping the ball every time that it's being thrown to you, why? I can't trust you in the game. I can't trust you to put you at first base. I can't trust. It all matters, is what I'm saying, and it is a gentle. I'm so positive about it because I know I'm not perfect, but I'm like, you're a volunteer. Let's rally around the guys that are volunteering and setting the expectations and trying to do things the right way. And let's meet them at least at a very minimal spot. I said it.
Yeah. And I'll say I'm lucky. I feel like my parents on our team, they have met our coaching staff right where we ask from an expectation perspective. And again, it's because we want to make the focus about the kids. We don't want to be distracted with details that, quite frankly, are table stakes and they don't matter. Like these things should happen. Let's not focus on these things, and let's focus on what we came to do. I raised my hand because I want my son to have a good environment, and I want these other 10 boys to have a good environment to play baseball. And I don't want them to get swallowed up into the machine. I want them to be like, "Ooh, what's this baseball thing? Man, this is fun. Ooh, that was fun. We were in the middle of a 6-inning rally and we came back and won. Ooh, I had a game-winning hit," or, "Oh man, I made a diving play." I want them to experience that. I got to experience those things, and it's awesome. So if we can get those little details out of the way because they're just noise, yep, get in line, communicate. That's basic human common sense. Communicate. That way we can make it about your kids, and that's all we're here to do.
And I listened to Coach Wood from Odessa College, National Power. He said, as a coach at the junior college level, he goes, "I want to create unforgettable experiences for your sons." May and I were talking last night, and she goes, what do you try to accomplish when you're coaching? And I'm like, I want people to leave saying, "Wow, that was fun. Wow, I'm different. Wow, his energy. Wow, I pushed myself. Wow, unforgettable." To the earlier point, you can't get to the wow or the unforgettable if we're worrying about a belt.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that in general. So, because man, baseball has so much to offer, and let's not focus on the distractions. Let's focus on the fun part about it. Baseball Forward, episode 58 with Ryan Hawley, my twin brother. Good to have you on. I appreciate it in the middle of your work day. What do you wish you would have known then what you know now about baseball when you were playing?
I think, well, I'd start with mindset. I probably would have dialed it back in intensity, in terms of it's not as important as you think it is. It's not as important as you think it is. I think I overwhelmed my mind with intense thoughts because I thought it was more important than it was. And I honestly don't care what level you're at. I mean, even if there's major leaguers listening to this, what you're doing is not that important. Is it impactful and is it important to you? Sure it is, but it's not that important.
That's right.
It's a baseball game. Number one. Number two, I wish I would have been more curious about some of the physical body movements that I could have worked on that were, without a bat in my hand or without a glove on my hand or a ball in my hand. I wish there were some of the physical things that I would have been more curious about. Wow. That if I would have gotten those things right, they would have impacted my ability to perform physically better. And then just the game within the game. Every pitch, there's meaning to every pitch. There's meaning to every situation. And I fell in love with that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love baseball. The average fan, or let's say, very less engaged fan, watches a baseball game and sees base hits and runs. The above average fan looks at baseball and says, "Oh, there's a plus count to the best hitter in the lineup right now. And this pitcher is running out of gas right now. He better not leave one over the plate here just to throw a strike, because that'll change the dynamic of the game." That's two different ways to look at the game. And I would have, what I wish I would have known then what I know now is not too many people are thinking like that. And I think that gives you an advantage if you're hyper aware of the micro situations that occur in baseball. Translate it back to business. Can you be hyper aware of those micro situations that are seemingly meaningless? I told a client I would get back to them, and I didn't get back to them when I said I would. Those things in the moment, you're like, whether I get to them today or Friday, doesn't matter. No, you said you'd get back today. Get back today, even if you don't have the answer. But yeah, the hyper awareness of the micro moments in a game. I wish I would have enjoyed it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because when you were free, and there were many times when you were free, and boy, it was fun. I remember playing, you second base, shortstop, me shortstop, and just going out there and turning no plays and not caring. I wish somebody would have told me, and I'm guessing probably you too. Your ERA doesn't matter. Your batting average doesn't matter. Those are not things that you control. I wish I would have been more engulfed in awareness of the process, in awarding myself for the process. Hey, you showed up again. Hey, you went on that run even though you didn't want to. Hey, you were 75% first pitch strikes. The things that are the little things that we rush to the end to see what the final result is. I told you the story of I had the minor league pitching coordinator for the Los Angeles Dodgers tell me I was a year away from the big leagues, and it went in 1 year and went right out the other because I was so focused on not the process. I was so focused on maybe what other people thought of me, what my ERA was. Now I didn't really ever worry about that. The physical outcome of it. And when you're worried about the wrong things, you can't be free. And I wish I would have had that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll go back to hitting. I mean, you covered pitching perfectly. I mean, I wish I would have found more barrels. And Benny used to always say, "Look away, reacting." And I wish I would have just like paused and just said, "Tell me more about that, and tell me how to accomplish that." Again, we're not having like a regretful conversation here, but now as a coach, I understand, and as a man who's now watched thousands and thousands of baseball games, you understand how it works. And from a hitter standpoint, the advantage you gain by laying off the crap, and the advantage of a plus count. The understanding of, oh, this pitcher actually has got me down right now, and I've got to adjust what my swing is. And again, back to finding barrels with pitches. I didn't really have an approach or a plan because I was all I worried about was what was the batting average because in our era it was batting average.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, great, Ryan, you hit 400, but you were hitting off a bunch of pus.
You were queuing them between that first baseman and second baseman.
And so I had this false sense of security that, well, I hit 400, and it's like, yeah, but it's how does it matter? Like I having it back, I would have been like, I would be more focused on, as you said, the process, but I would have really spent time on how do I ensure that my approach leads me to finding more barrels and hitting the ball harder. Because ultimately those balls are going to start falling. And that lesson is helpful in coaching Ty because, these kids all talk about average. And I'm like, buddy, I judge your at bat, whether you walk, strike out, get hit by pitch, hit a missile up the middle or a bomb. I judge it based on how you take pitches and what your swing looks like. Did you just deploy, as your guys say, did you just deploy your A swing? Yeah, I saw your A swing twice. You just missed one of them. You fouled it straight back, and then you swung over the top of a ball in the dirt. Fine, let's talk about your approach. Why'd you swing at that? But you look at the game differently when you're not so focused on the outcome, which I was, and you miss everything in between.
Coach Gary Ward, it just blows my mind listening to this stuff. Surrender the outcome. Yeah, that would be one of his top pillars. Surrender the outcome. You have to surrender the outcome. And he tells a story of Robin Ventura, him being out on the field with Robin Ventura around noon, the day that Robin Ventura got it. He's out there with a mirror showing him, and he said, in that moment, I get goosebumps thinking about it. Ventura got it. And why did he get it? And he said, because he finally surrendered the outcome. And I'm like, wow, what the heck does that mean? And as I get older and as I learn the game, it's more fun to focus on the wins than it is the losses. And if the wins don't have to be if I get two good swings off and I foul it off, but I strike out 2 out of 3, that's still a good at bat, surrendering the outcome and playing with freedom. My goodness. All right, let's get this thing a few more minutes here, Uncle Ryan, or Ryan Thomas Hawley. I call him Uncle Ryan because that's what all the kids at home call him, Uncle Ryan, Uncle Rhino. Man, I hope this podcast gets 1,000 downloads compared to whatever it has now. So maybe we'll get a regular segment going. What was your favorite music listening to growing up? Like what comes to mind when I say your favorite music? Like what songs? What don't give me a canned answer. Like what was the music of what do you remember growing up in high school and middle school?
Yeah, music really didn't matter to me until we got to be about 12 or 13. And I remember pulling in May to a tournament in Palmer Park in Colorado Springs and hearing the great lyricist and producer, Dr. Dre, Nothing But a G-Thing.
Ooh, really? Palmer Park.
I'll never forget that hearing. And because you remember there was like barbecues and cookouts going on there while baseball games were going on. And you just hear that thing thumping. And I was like, what is that? Then I would say, Warren G, Regulate. I remember listening to that over and over and over. But, Tupac, I mean, we listened to rap. I mean, every once in a while you mix in some, rock and roll and whatever. But I mean, now it's country and K-Love and, worship music. But back then, Biggie, my goodness, from one end of the spectrum to the other. Yeah. I remember our junior year riding around when that Notorious B.I.G. double disc dropped.
Oh yeah.
And Notorious Thugs and listening to that album. That was that was a good album. And then we moved to South Dakota.
Sodak, which was you remember when we went out to that tryout for Madison and the dude was throwing BP without an L screen?
And you remember the balls were? He had like those plastic synthetic balls. And you said to him, you're like, hey man, where's your L screen? And he's like, I'm not going to use one. I'm like, think you need one, sir. Think you need one.
Man. And they were like, I was genuinely worried in that moment. And more than anything, I think that was the moment. And I was totally good with it. I think I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, but I was good with moving to South Dakota. It was only one more year till we went to college. But I think that was a moment when we were driving away from that park that one day that I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? We went from area code tryout, loving the team we were playing with, Air Academy, good players, to this guy doesn't use an L screen. Mom, Debbie, cleaned it all up for us like she usually does. She's the fixer. Finish with this. Finish with something about mom and dad. They want to hear it because Jeff Heinrich told me this when I first started doing this podcasting stuff. And I'm going to try to remember this when I'm having conversations like this. This is something that's going to live in perpetuity for you and I. When you're gone and I'm gone, your son's going to listen to it. Savannah's going to listen to it. So not corny or crying, whatever, but what, when I say something about mom and dad, just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to our time when we moved to Austin, Texas, and as it relates strictly to baseball, I remember the family would pack up off Harper's Ferry and we go down to that little rec park that was like all grass and it was hot and it was nasty, but dad would get done with work or studying or where the heck he was doing at the University of Texas. Hook them, baby, hook them.
Oh,
but we'd go down to that field with the entire family, Melissa, mom and dad, and we'd all be, hot and sweaty. And then we would just hit the ball. He would throw us batting practice. The endless hours he threw us batting practice, and you couldn't pull the ball to save your life. And I remember him trying to instruct you and me.
Playoffs.
And he was trying to instruct us. He wanted us to pull the ball. He wanted us to hammer it, and we're hitting the ball oppo taco, and he was getting frustrated, and then we'd get hot and we'd get bothered. You'd normally get yelled at because you wouldn't fix something, and then we'd go home. But before we went home, we'd stop at Circle K or 7-Eleven. At Circle K, we'd get one of their big 64-ounce Gatorades and or a Big Gulp. And now as a parent,
man,
like I have these flashbacks. Wow. You remember the Shopette on the Air Force Academy?
Oh my gosh!
I have these flashbacks where after practice, Ty and I's thing is to go to Port Sills. When Savannah goes to batting practice with us, or we go out and do something, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to stop and get a slushie? Like, I know they're not good for them. They're about to drink 32 ounces of pure sugar, and they're going to be bouncing off the walls. But I remember that, and I want them to have that experience. So as it relates to mom and dad, I mean, man, that small little habit of, hey, you went out and worked, here's your reward. You went out and did something, here's your reward. It's like this reinforcement that I don't even know if they knew they were doing it. They probably wanted to just get a drink themselves and whatever. But
Dad wanted gummy bears or cinnamon bears, whatever he used to get.
Yeah, and then I would just say, always in college, looking up and being able to see that they were there. That the time that you were on Sports Illustrated, or you were in Sports Illustrated, and our congregation from our church showed up, and USD was getting a bunch of C&I singles, and I'm watching from center field, and they're scoring runs, and I could see mom and dad knew what I saw, and I saw a frustrated guy who was throwing 95 miles an hour and started throwing it behind hitters, and then there was quite the fun interaction with the USD baseball team.
Mom told me like a week later, she's like, did you know that Pastor Steve was there? I was like, Mom, do you think I cared? Yeah. Like, I ain't worried about that. She's like, just maybe. But I was like, Melissa, give baseball forward family. We have a sister named Melissa, and we love her. Melissa, I should talk to you more. I apologize. It's my fault. Give some love to Melissa.
Yeah, she was always there. When we'd be on the ride home from Denver back to Colorado Springs, I remember, listening to yacht rock and 80s soft rock, and she'd want to switch a channel, or Melissa was always so supportive. And imagine that you get lugged around to a ball field every weekend. I think of Savannah on this. You get lugged around to a ball field, and she always did it with support, and she cheered us on, and she was just she was a rock. You know what I mean? She was really a good sister and a good friend. I mean, and the fact that she started to really understand baseball, so like we could talk to her after college games and say this was what was going on. She understood because she was paying attention, and that just speaks to the person she is. She cares about the people around her, and she cared about her brothers, and she wanted to know what we wanted to know, and so she did. And now Les is probably like watching a baseball game, and she probably knows more about what's going on than Les does. Just kidding, obviously, but yeah, that's what I would say about Melissa. That's what I definitely remember those trips back and forth to Denver.
Man, Clement Park.
Elevation
headaches. Melissa is one of the most steady human beings I've ever met in my life. And it, like, what do they say? Success leaves a trail or breadcrumbs. Melissa's been leaving little pieces of bread everywhere she goes. And it's something that I don't tell her enough that I admire. Dude, she is the same. And when you get to this age, you're like, that's what this is. Find who you are and live in it.
Yeah. She in baseball terms, she goes out every day. Yep. She gets her two or three base hits every day. Doesn't do anything flashy, comes back out, does it again. She's one of the most disciplined people. And that influence of seeing how she threw herself into music and how she threw herself into academics, and just that example of discipline and repetitive nature and consistency, no doubt that had an influence on the work we ended up putting in, because that was the expectation that she set in our household. If you're going to do something, you're going to commit to it. And, we came after her, so we followed suit to the example she set for us.
Gosh, she was such a better daughter than I was a son, and definitely way better than you. I know that. You were a loser. Hey, I'm proud of you. I love having these conversations, and I truly hope that people can get some stuff out of it. Entertainment. I'm sure it's entertaining listening to a couple of folks. Hey, Aunt Diane, don't write a comment on my Facebook that I have a big forehead because I'm not wearing a hat. Okay. She ripped that off. She's like, oh, look at this. He's got a Carlson forehead. I was like, Diane, now's not the platform. But hey, Diane, I love you because she's so supportive. Hey, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for everything that's going on. I'm glad that you're coaching. Finish it up, and then I'll say goodbye.
Hey, you guys just keep doing what you're doing. This world needs more baseball forward, needs more instruction, needs level-headed leaders that understand we are playing a game. We're playing a game.
Yep.
And it should be treated accordingly. This is entertainment. This is also training ground, though, for young kids. And so parents, coaches out there, continue to understand that responsibility and that impact that you can have on a kid. You may have a bad day. I have bad days. Let's just continue to remind ourselves that, hey, when we show up for these kids, it's about them. It's about their future. It's about what they want to do with life, and make the environment adjustable accordingly. So,
Ryan Hawley, my twin brother, episode 58 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Thanks, guys.